With the fallout from Christian McCaffrey's injury, Jordan Mason's injury, the San Francisco 49ers have made multiple roster moves. Today, we'll discuss some of those roster moves. We'll open it up for some questions and open dialogue from you guys, and we'll talk about it all coming up right now. But you guys already know what to do. Drop an SDS in the chat, smash that like button, and let's go. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. What's going down, gang? Hopefully you guys are having a good day. Let's get right into it. The San Francisco 49ers make multiple roster moves, and one that I really like. We actually talked about it yesterday, I believe, courtesy of Chasing Gold, but we'll get into that a little bit right now. The 49ers have to make a move with all the running back injuries, so they bring in Israel Abanikanda, and they get a 22-year-old running back who I really wanted the 49ers to consider in the draft. Now, we all understand we don't really love third-round running backs. You know, kind of has a negative connotation around the San Francisco 49ers dating back to their first draft when I'm already blanking on his name. Joe Williams? Is that who it was? The first running back Kyle Shanahan has ever selected was, I believe, Joe Williams. Let me double check this since we're going way back. Yeah, Joe Williams never took a snap for the San Francisco 49ers. Oh, good job. Good job. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. However, you know, there's other ones. Ty Davis Price, Trey Sermon. The list goes on and on. So when, 49er fans see the Kyle Shanahan go out and pick a running back, they're like, oh, no. Well, he did well, I think, this last draft. I think we all like Isaac Guerendo. I think we all see the promise that Isaac Guerendo brings to the table. And so, hey, you win some, you lose some. Isaac Guerendo seems like a solid back, and he has gotten better every single game that he's been able to play. So the point being is, I was thinking that the 49ers could draft this guy, but they didn't. He goes in the 5th round to the New York Jets in 2023. He's just been buried on the depth chart. They drafted another high round running back in this year's class. He just has never really gotten an opportunity. He has only 22 total carries, and those came in 2023, his rookie season. He had 70 yards rushing, it was 3.2 a clip. Just really not giving him many opportunities. 13 of those runs came in the zone scheme. 9 of those runs came in gap scheme. So that's an interesting element because the 49ers do run both variations of that offense. So I think he's going to be a fit, to be honest. I get it. It's December 3rd. There's not a lot of things to be excited about with the San Francisco 49ers right now. It's pretty down in the dumps. Pretty, just unfortunate with where the 49ers are at. But hey, I like this move. If the 49ers needed to go out and get someone to contribute, this is a guy that I really like. And I do think he has high upside. And we'll see. We'll see if that actually comes to, materialize into anything. But as it stands right now, I really like this addition. He appeared in 30 games with Pitt. He registered 385 carries, over 2,000 rushing yards, 28 rushing touchdowns, and 3 touchdowns through the air. And in 2022, he was first team All ACC. Hey, he was good in college. That's why I liked him. I think a lot of people liked him coming out of the draft. Went to a unfortunate, went to just straight up, just went to a bad organization. They're not a good team, not run well. And so, as we know, they've let go of their general manager, their head coach. So whoever's making roster decisions, I don't even know who's making those roster decisions at the moment. So they released him. The 49ers put in a claim and they get him. So I like it quite a bit. Joe says, Brad, is Guerrero going to be RB1 against the Bears? Yes, he will be RB1. I would imagine Guerrero is probably going to get almost all the carries. Just like we've seen when we've had a starting running back, they typically, they own the backfield. Kyle Shanahan isn't typically a RBBC kind of a guy, running back by committee. He likes to give it to one guy and one guy only. That's why a lot of people were on his case about how he's utilized Jordan Mason, and it's just it's crazy because in a game where it felt like they were starting to get that rhythm down of, getting some Jordan Mason touches, getting some CMC touches, and then boom, both of them are out for the season. Just a weird year altogether. But I do like this addition, and it'll be interesting to see how he fares. Keyshawn Vaughn has been added to the practice squad. So no surprise that the 49ers continue to try to insulate their running back room with as much depth as possible. Keyshawn Vaughn was with the 49ers throughout training camp and I think through the preseason. And so he comes back. I think he was on the practice squad too for a while. So they bring back Keyshawn Vaughn. He's okay. Nothing crazy with Keyshawn. And obviously all these moves are corresponding with Christian McCaffrey being placed officially on IR. We don't have official word yet about Jordan Mason being placed on IR, but we do have official word for CMC. So CMC likely done for the season. Just a brutal it's just a brutal year, man. Brutal year for so many different reasons, injuries being one of them. And then the man, the myth, the legend, Ronnie Bell has returned to the San Francisco 49ers practice squad. I'm not sure I have seen a player universally disliked by this fan base. And, this fan base will tell you when they don't like a player. Yeah, this fan base does not like Ronnie Bell. They were not happy to see Ronnie Bell return to the practice squad. I mean, the comments surrounding Ronnie Bell's release were just, everyone was so happy to see that. And then to see him added back to the practice squad, people were not happy about that. There have been a lot of players that 49ers fans, like, as a group, don't like. It's been a while since I've seen a player like just universally despised by the entire fan base. And hey, I get it. He had a terrible preseason. He had a terrible start to the season, and 49er fans will not let him forget it, especially having that crucial drop in that week 3 game against the Rams, which, hey, contributed to the disaster of this San Francisco 49ers season. So hey, that's what it is. Fans don't care. They want to see you go out there. They want to see you execute. You don't execute, they don't care about you. So it is what it is. Those are the 49ers roster moves that they have going. Any hope of the playoffs? Playoffs? Uh, you know, there's a chance, like if we're speaking mathematically through how they would go about potentially making their way into the playoff, there's a chance, like there's a path that the 49ers make the playoffs. Hope that the 49ers make the playoffs. I think hope has left the building a long time ago. Um, again, there's a chance. Like I think there's two different thought processes here, and there's a path that they make the playoffs. But again, it's like hope that they make. Like no, I don't think anyone thinks that this team is going to make the playoffs. I think universally, whether you're a 49er fan, whether you're a media pundit, whether you're a casual fan, I really don't think anyone is thinking that the 49ers are going to make the playoffs. They don't look like a playoff team. They're decimated with injuries. Uh, you never say never, and you've seen crazier things. But I think just from a fan perspective, rather than just completely being let down and having your hopes and dreams crashed and chopped up in front of your eyes, you just kind of have to, I think, kind of just be like, hey, if they get in, fantastic. But it's not the expectation at this point. I don't think it should be. I don't think we should expect that the 49ers are going to make the playoffs. If they do, great, phenomenal. It will be an improbable run and a probable turnaround that we weren't anticipating. But as it stands right now, they don't look like a playoff team. As it stands right now, they're not playing like a playoff team. As it stands right now, they are not healthy like a playoff team. There's so many things working against them. And so it's like they just got embarrassed 2 weeks in a row. Um, two of the worst, you would stack these last two losses that the 49ers had up with some of the worst losses. Um, with Kyle and John's tenure. So it's like it's really hard to look at those things. Uh, and then you see that you lose Jordan Mason, you lose Christian McCaffrey, and you're like, oh, we still got a chance at the playoffs. And it's just like, yes, we have a chance at the playoffs, for sure. But expecting the playoffs, expecting that will happen, just feels like a setup for a letdown. So, I get it. If you want to hold out hope, I respect you for it, for sure. I just think like for my mental health, I just have to accept the season for what it is. It was, I held on as long as I could. I held on to about the Packers game, and the Packers game was just so embarrassing. Um, and along with the Bills game, it's just like we have to call a spade a spade. It just doesn't look like we have it in us this year. Um, so um, it's the unfortunate nature. Again, if I'm wrong, I would love to be wrong about that. If they make the playoffs and they go on a run, I would love to be wrong about that. That would be something I would scream and stand up on top of my desk and say I was wrong about. I would love to be wrong about that. I would love to be like, "Oh, see, Brad, you should have held out hope." I would love to be wrong about that. I would love to just be utterly proven wrong. But unfortunately, just with where we sit, where we're at, um, you know, I'm concerned about the 49ers getting embarrassed by the Bears. The Bears just fired their head coach. And we've seen how teams have responded to when they fire a head coach that hasn't been doing well. They tend to be energized. They tend to be like a new team. They tend to be fired up, ready to go. They have an opportunity to come in and beat down on the 49ers. Why not? Let's go beat the 49ers. So it stinks. It stinks. I don't like feeling that way, but also just I have to be honest with myself and see how it goes. See how it goes from there. Let's see. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to get them in. We're just having a light talk, light live, light chat about where the 49ers are at, what they're going through. Um, Seems like there's a lot of conversation. Do we have do we want to talk about Brock Purdy? There seems to be a lot of conversation about Brock Purdy. Um, and where that situation is going. Um, I'm curious to know where you guys are at with that because obviously the 49ers, it's been expected and anticipated that they are going to be paying Brock Purdy. Um, so I'm curious to know what you guys think about that. Do you think they should pay Brock Purdy? Do you think he will get paid? Do you think other things will happen? Um, I've said it on live before and I'll say it again and I'll continue to say it. I am not in the boat that this is just going to be a cake walk contract negotiation. I think that there is a potential range of outcome that it could get away from them and it could be a difficult one. Be for the simple fact that Brock Purdy isn't a unrestricted free agent at the end of this year. He's under contract, so it's very similar structure to the Brandon Ayuk logistics. Logistics was under contract, or excuse me, BA was under contract for this season, but we knew he wasn't going to play on the current deal this season. The same thing applies with Brock. Brock is under contract next year, and we all know he is not going to play on that contract. So, what do the 49ers do? Do they want to pay him 60, 65 million? Do they just give him that right out the gate and say, you're a guy and this is, you've taken us to the Super Bowl, you've taken us to 2 NFC championship games. Obviously, this year feels like a bit of a down year, but we're going to reward you for this. And or are they going to say, you know what, we think you're worth this, and we don't want to pay anymore? And then Brock and his agent say, well, we want to get paid X amount, and that's what it is. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think it's a similar situation where, again, if you're practicing without a new contract, you're risking injury, you're risking some of the things that we've seen. So I don't know. I don't know what this season's going to look like. This off season's going to look like, but I can guarantee you, I'm not of the mindset that this is just going to be a foregone conclusion, that it's just going to be cakewalk. Let's shake hands and get it done. This feels like it could be another dog fight in the negotiation room. So we'll see how it plays out. But I don't know. I know a lot of people think that it's going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy. I don't necessarily keep that same tune. And again, would love to be wrong. Would love to be like, oh, they paid Brock. Oh, great. And then we move on with our lives. But I'm not anticipating that. I'm anticipating something. What's the least amount you would make 49ers content for? The least amount. Uh, well, I mean, there was a long, long time where I was just doing this as a hobby. So, which wasn't looking to get paid, wasn't looking for money, wasn't looking for brand deals, nothing like that. So that there was a good portion of time where I just did this as a hobby before it came like my full time job. So I don't know. For well, it would have to be would have to be something where I could continue to take care of my family because that's what I do here. So because it is my full time job. If I had another job where this wasn't a full time thing, I would do it for free. But it is what I do. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Purdy. I have seen that. I mean, there are people who are in the know that are kind of like letting us know, like, I think it would be wise to pay attention to the tea leaves. Rich Eisen's talking about it. Albert Breer's talking about it. I've heard some things. So just just be prepared. Just be prepared for anything. I'm prepared for anything. I think you should be prepared for anything. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see what happens. Again, would love to be wrong and love for it to be a seamless, smooth, easy transition, and it's super easy, and we go along with our lives. But that just hasn't been how it's gone thus far. So, um, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Someone said, "Have I heard the 49ers diss track?" Yeah, that thing goes viral every time we lose. NFL fans love that the 49ers are terrible. They love it. Have I started looking at draft prospects yet? Absolutely. I have. There are multiple guys that I do like. So, I have absolutely I have absolutely started looking at draft prospects. We're right around the corner, man. We're right around the corner of draft season. It's super close. I don't think they can franchise tag Brock. He is under contract. So, am I ready for Kirk Cousins? Oh, I just really have to look back at how the 49ers have managed the quarterback position under Kyle Shanahan, and you just can't assume that the thing that you think makes sense is going to happen. We all thought Jimmy Garoppolo was off the team heading into the 2022 season because he should have been, because we thought he was, and he somehow started games for the 49ers in 2022. How we think about the 49ers quarterback position, how we perceive it to be from the outside is never how it's operated from the internal perspective. So, if you think that it's just a foregone conclusion that the 49ers going to lock up Brock Purdy, all kumbaya, easy peasy lemon squeezy, just take that logic and say, okay, well, the 49ers have done the exact opposite and everything that we thought would be logical from the quarterback spot. So it is what it is. Uh, it is what it is. uh, James says Robert Griffin is saying all our issues are because of the Ayuk drama and getting paid. Um, I saw what he said. It was really similar to what I said um, in my video. I think I made like 2 weeks ago of why I think things are going wrong with the San Francisco 49ers. It comes down to the human element. It comes down to exhaustion. It comes down to just being absolutely and utterly exhausted from multiple runs at the Super Bowl, deep playoff runs, multiple injuries, all that stuff. Like there's and then you transition a devastating Super Bowl loss. Like I said in that video, like I was credentialed to the Super Bowl. So I was standing in front of Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy and George Kittle. I was standing in front of all Fred Warner. I looked straight into their eyes after the Super Bowl loss. And dude, it looked like Christian McCaffrey had just witnessed something just insanely traumatic. Like all of those guys just look destroyed, and rightfully so. You just lost the Super Bowl, just lost a game you should have won. You just lost in just traumatizing fashion. You lose Dre Greenlaw, like the way it happened, just devastating. And that takes time to overcome. Like me as a fan of this team is still trying to overcome the Super Bowl loss. Like, and that whole situation and what that was like and how devastating that was. Like, if I'm being 100% honest with you, like, I'm still trying to figure it out. I tweeted about it yesterday. I literally tweeted about it yesterday. Let me see if I can find the tweet. So, like, if I'm like struggling as someone who makes YouTube videos about the San Francisco 49ers, imagine actually being on the team. Imagine being responsible for a fumble or a misplay or something that didn't go your way, and that's devastating, bro. That takes a toll. I tweeted this yesterday. I said, I have not been well since I had my Stephon Diggs moment at the Super Bowl. Like I was soaking it all in because again, like this was the first game I'd ever been credentialed to cover the NFL. It was the Super Bowl. It was an unreal experience. I mean, I had the time of my life, interviewed like probably nearly every player for the 49ers, interviewed a ton of Hall of Famers. Like I talked to a ton of people, had a great time. It was arguably one of the best weeks of my life. And, you know, I just sat there and I remember, you know, I remember Pat, the play, the final score, and him running around and like, dude, it just like it hurt, and then that sticks with you. And I think for the 49ers players, like, dude, that hurts. It hurts. And then to have to go immediately into drama-filled offseason that lasts all the way to the regular season, basically. And they never got a break. They never got to like mentally recover from it. Yeah, I think they're exhausted. I think they are I think that those fourth quarter losses and how they all went down and what happened, how it happened, that sticks with you, man. They're all and then they lose a third quarter, they lose a fourth quarter 10-point lead against the Rams. They lose a fourth quarter lead against the Cardinals. They get absolutely eviscerated by the Chiefs. All that PTSD comes rushing back. All those same emotions, all those same feelings come rushing back. They're they're going through a lot of things, man. And then we're finding out that there's tragedy off the field and all of these things. There's so many other elements that are at play that are not just on the field. So yeah, I agree. I think they, I think a lot of people crush Manti Te'o for them being emotionally drained, and that was from preseason. They've been emotionally drained, man. I talked about Dwight Clark Day at training camp, 8-7 day. Terrible practice. Just one of the worst I had ever seen this team look. And it was just like, oh man, we talked about it. Vibes. Vibes aren't good. Vibes aren't bad. The vibes aren't. Bro, this season I think has deteriorated based on vibes. Vibes have not been good from the start. And then when you lose how you do, and you don't execute and you don't take care of business, the vibes only get worse. They don't get better. They get worse. So what I think the 49ers are dealing with is they were trying their best to, put on a brave face and come out and play this season, and things just started going haywire on them. And so when that happens, you're just like, oh my gosh, it's a tidal wave of bad energy, bad vibes, bad this, bad that. Why is all this stuff happening to us? Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. It didn't start with the Brandon Ayuk contract negotiation. It started with them losing the Super Bowl. That's what it started with. And then it transferred into the Ayuk negotiation. That's just a part of the puzzle, in my opinion. So, yeah, we can point to the execution on the field, but I think they're beat down. I think they're beat down, and then how they're performing and executing, they're continuing to be beat down, and it's just making it really challenging on them. So it's a lot of things. It is a lot of things. I mean, Nigel, it's also how the 49ers handled the offseason. The 49ers could have paid Brandon Ayuk a million times along the way. They chose not to. That's just how it goes, man. It's both. It's both. I you know, I was fortunate enough to know everything that was going on behind the scenes with that whole situation. I know everything that went on. Everything. That went on from start to finish, all the way through. So, when I say both played a role in it, both played a role in it. It wasn't just Ayuk. Both played equal parts in this situation. So it's not just Ayuk. But anyways, maybe one day I'll write a tell-all on it, but not today. So, the season hasn't gone good. It's not great. And so uh it's it's unfortunate. But I also I don't want to just sit here and talk about all the negatives all the time. Like, we at a certain point, I think we understand what it is. We understand why we're here, and there's plenty of people talking poorly and negatively on this team. It's like, let's take a different angle. What positives can we take away from this season? What optimism can be taken? Like, that I think is harder to do right now than it is to focus on everything that's not going right. Like, it is way easier to just talk about everything that isn't going right than it is to talk about some positive things. Like, I told you guys I was going to watch the film and watch Ben Barch. Ben Barch, so far, I'm halfway through the tape, has played the best we've seen from a left guard on the 49ers this year. I think they need to figure out how to bring him back. They need to figure out how to bring Ben Barch back. If they can sign him to a 1-year prove it deal or a multi-year, like very, uh, you know, a deal that isn't going to hurt them or overextend them because again, he has barely played. And so if you can get ahead of that and potentially get a value on Barch who could come in and compete to be a starter next year, and let's say does become a starter and you're paying him like uh, a bottom tier guard and he turns out to be pretty decent, that's, no disrespect to Barch, but it's like if the 49ers can do that, that's a win. If they can get him for a value and he comes in next season and competes as a starter and wins the job, shoot, that's a value. You save big time there. And I'm serious. Ben Barch has looked better so far against the Bills than I have seen Aaron Banks look for that same period of time in any game this year. So, you know, I it is what it is, man. So I think that's a positive. JJ's always a positive. Um, Jawan Jennings always gives his all. George Kittle always gives his all. Pooney, Mustafa are positives. Isaac Rendo's positive. I think there are positives with Ricky Pearsall. I think he can absolutely be a guy that contributes. So we'll see. Obviously, it's been a up and down road for him this season. What other positives are there? Renato Green has been a positive. Again, man, like, yeah, it hasn't gone how this team would have hoped for. Hasn't been ideal, but there are positives along the way. And this season could ultimately be a wash when it's all said and done, and might not mean anything. But at minimum, I think we do know that there's some talent to build around. We have some guys to build around, and what's exciting is potentially kind of retooling the offensive line a little bit. Again, we don't know if the 49ers will go that route or to that extent, but if they do, that's exciting, to hopefully try to get the best offensive line possible, retooling of the defensive line, get the best defensive line possible, retool, restack, get more talent, continue to build. Like, that's where I always find a lot of positivity in this stuff is building, is construction, is putting together the foundation for how do we get back, how do we rebuild, how does this team become competitive again. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't necessarily think the wide nine needs to go. They need to bring more heat. There needs to be more spice. They're just so vanilla. Just bring some more spice to it, man. Like, uh, there's got to be something that they can learn from all the defenses that are throwing exotic after exotic after exotic at the 49ers offense. Like, the 49ers offense is continually caught in a bad spot because of the way defenses are scheming them up. Can we pick on that? Can we try to do that? Can we try overloads? Can we try manipulating their protection rules? Or is that only us who gets manipulated? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, man. But I don't necessarily think it's a wide nine because when you have four disruptive players, that does allow you to play more coverage on the back end and, you know, be able to just rush 4. That's the ideal scenario, but when you're not doing that, you gotta adjust. You gotta do something different, man. You gotta pivot. And would just love to see some kind of I don't know, man. I don't know what I'd like to see at this point. So, keep hearing the 49ers should get Frank Gore Jr. off the Bills practice squad. Will they still? If they would have, they would have done it by now. So, it could get to that point where eventually they do that. But just seems like they could have had those opportunities and they are not taking advantage of those opportunities to do that. So I would have to venture to say that they probably won't. So we'll see, man. We will see what's good media. Good to see you, stepson. I haven't seen media around these parts in a while. So I don't know. But I'm gonna post a video kind of showcasing why Ben Barch should be considered. Like if it were the 49ers, like if roster politics weren't a thing, um Ben Barch probably should have been starting a long time ago. Also, too, I think part of it is, you know, Aaron Banks is he is a unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. And if he signs elsewhere, the 49ers will get a comp pick in return. And, he was playing pretty well at one point, but just not recently. It's just been a down year for Banks, starting in training camp. And it's just never like typically he's kind of, ho hum in training camp and then he like kicks it into gear during the season. Just hasn't kicked it into gear. Continually struggles in the run game. That's one of the things like with Ben Barch. Ben Barch is digging out these defensive tackles. He is getting to second level. He's doing well. And he's taking correct angles. Like he's doing. I'm just like, man, like, and we've seen it all year on tape. Like it was to the point where I was getting frustrated with it because it was over and over again. It was just the same thing over and over again, like the same issues, same inconsistencies, same thing over and over again. And without I didn't know if Ben Barch was going to be any good. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, put in Ben Barch, but hey, Barch played well. He played really well, like shockingly well, especially in those conditions. He looks strong. He looks like he's got good pad level. His base is fantastic. It's always wide. His feet rarely come together. He doesn't fall off blocks. So it's like, will he remain? I don't know. I don't know. It's nothing personal against Banks. I think I got to talk to Banks at the Super Bowl. Super chill dude. Like he's super cool. Like Banks is awesome. Like cool ass dude. Like love Banks. Like he's super chill. But he's just been struggling this year. Just hasn't been playing at the level that we've seen him play before. So, um, I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's, putting pressure on himself, because it's a contract year. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But him and Brendel just have not played well together. Brendel got it together for a couple of games, and then it just all kind of fell apart on him again. So I think it's pretty clear that the 49ers would do well with getting younger and stronger at the center position. Right now, Brendel just has no power. He's got no power. So it's not like he's bad all the time, but there are just instances where he's got no power. So but Ben Barch looks good. So I'm gonna hopefully try to get that video out tonight. We'll see how it works. I still got to get through some of the tape, but we'll see. But I appreciate everyone for tapping in today. 49ers back at practice tomorrow. So we'll have some more practice updates, things like that, of what's going on, and we'll see how it goes from here on out. But yeah, 5 more weeks of fun, baby. Woo! Good stuff. You have a feeling Keenan Allen would go off? Of course he would. He's one of my favorite all-time players. I literally have his jersey. I have a Keenan Allen jersey on this rack. Like, Keenan Allen's my guy. Cal Bear, of course. But shout out to all you guys. Appreciate everyone as always for tapping in and sticking with the channel, even though season is brutal. And I do appreciate it. So thank you for sticking around. We'll get through this together, win, lose, or draw. And we'll do our best moving forward, and we'll keep trying to identify some of the positives, even though there aren't that many. So appreciate you all. I am out of here for now. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see you.